tell Rob to do that for next time.
Okay, guys, we're live in 1 minute, I guess. We're already live on LinkedIn. I mean, YouTube, but we'll go live on LinkedIn in a minute.
What's your background there, Nick? What beach is that?
Me, need Arcutino. It's a real picture from White. Yeah. It's real. Yeah, and the funny thing, is, no, probably next year I'll do some webinars from the beach. No. Yeah. So, okay, guys. So let me just go live on LinkedIn, and we'll be ready to go. Okay. Okay, guys, I think we're ready. So let's start. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining our webinar. I'm Nick Penev, the partnership manager at hellotax, and I have one of my best partners today. Proactive, like me, good speakers, good solutions. So we're here for probably 1 hour. We're not going to keep it for too much, but it's a great discussion. So it's really simple. 400+ million Europeans want to buy your product. Probably didn't know, now you would learn how. So we'll show you how to get started, because the biggest issue everybody is doing, in e-commerce in general, is not making any action. So we'll show the steps. You just need to make the next step just to try to realize them. So the discussion will be how to successfully expand to the EU and sell your product. Today, here are my partners: John, CEO of ZonGuru; Omar, co-founder of MarginBusiness; and Adam, the CEO of Sunken. They'll give you all the tips that you need to know in regards to expansion, all the blockers, and how you can overcome that. And here is the agenda for the event. First, it would be John from ZonGuru, how to find the winning Amazon product for the EU marketplace. Because if you don't have a product, you have nothing to sell. Therefore, we cannot make any revenue or profit. So after you find the profit, you need to make the second step. You need to establish yourself in Europe. And this is when I'll talk about that, how to expand, how to be VAT compliant, so you can start selling in Europe. Once you do that, then you have another blocker: translation optimization. This is where Omar will tell what they do, because they're a translation and listing optimization agency with more than 10 years experience. They have native translators and speakers, so they know what they're doing. And after you do that, then you need to grow your brand, because you need to do the PPC and all the management stuff that many of you don't know. And this is where Adam will tell what they're doing, because they have a great agency and they're helping a lot of sellers. If you have any questions, or if you need to leave earlier, just type them in the chat and we'll answer that in the Q&A section, and you can watch that in the recording. So let's start. I'll have John introduce himself and he'll tell you more about what they do. So I'll stop sharing. John, over to you.
What's up? Thanks, Nick. I'm excited to be on this panel today. I think there's a lot of expertise here, and I love it, Nick. It's pretty simple. 400 million people. Let's go sell on Amazon Europe, but it's not that simple, right? And I think obviously looking for products. We're going to talk a little bit about that now, but I think the nuances around how to navigate Europe, especially things like Brexit, cultural differences. How to really access and get in front of that marketplace. There's definitely strategies, nuances, listing tips, etc. And obviously the guys here are very well equipped to handle that. So I've chatted a lot with Adam and Omar, and it's going to be a good panel. So yeah, let's jump in. I've got 10 minutes, so I'm going to cover a little bit of the opportunity around Europe, how to look at products in Europe. We'll jump into ZonGuru software for a second, and just I'll show you two different ways of how you can actually look for and validate niches in those marketplaces. ZonGuru is a business intelligence toolset for Amazon sellers. We have over 17 different tools that can help you give you data in the right visualized way so you can make the right decisions for your Amazon business. We have a bunch of Amazon sellers on our team, so they know what problems we need to solve, and you'll see that in the data. And we're integrated with the big marketplaces, North America, Europe, and then some of the more emerging ones like Australia and India as well. So it's pretty cool when you have that data across all of these platforms to kind of see what are the opportunities and how to approach products in those different marketplaces. So that's what we're going to cover today. I'm going to share my screen and jump in because I know Nick is on the clock here, so he's gonna keep me tight. All right, let's share my screen here. Hold on. Again, if you have any questions, please do put them in the chat and we will go from there. That'll be great. All right, let me see. You guys can see my screen. Let me just present this. Okay, come on. There we go. You guys can see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, great. Again, so Nick covered it, 400 million customers. How do we get in front of them in Europe? So again, if you're selling in the US and you're thinking of, launching in Europe, extending your brand there, this is going to be relevant for you. Other countries, obviously, or if you're just starting out fresh, thinking about Europe versus some of the other marketplaces is an interesting exercise to go through. High level, when you're launching a product on Amazon, what's the golden ticket? You need something that has good demand, right? Remember, people they need to be looking for that type of niche already. We're not here to create brand awareness for something brand new, right? This is about people looking for a specific product. That's why conversion rate is so good. You want something that has less competition, good profit margin, right? It's all about what's left over at the end of the day that you can invest back into your business to grow it. Low capital investments, especially if you're starting out, getting something where you've got decent demand, but you don't have to put in too much capital is really important. And then something that will grow to a 7 to 8 figure business in the next 1 to 2 years. So, that's what's amazing about Amazon is there's organic growth that just happens because they do such a good job of going into marketplaces that there's organic growth as we move to e-commerce. If you can just stay in stock and you have a good product, you are definitely going to grow and hit those figures. I'm going to show you an example right now. So that's the kind of ideal opportunity. But the question we all know is like, okay, great. Well, obviously the best marketplace, e-com, Amazon marketplace is the US. Is the competition too high? Have I missed the boat? That's a question that comes up literally since 2016 when I started getting involved in the space. And so, when you're looking at a product, is the opportunity on the US 1% and it's very difficult to get in? Or if that same product, could I look at a market like Amazon France and it's got a much bigger competition opportunity, a better chance of getting in with less competition? So these are the things we need to look at when we're looking at products. The high level answer on this is like, have you missed the boat on Amazon.com? Absolutely not. There's massive opportunities on Amazon.com, but it is more seasoned. There's more competition. You have to be very niche and very targeted in the way that you look for product opportunities. Whereas other emerging marketplaces, they are bigger. There is less competition. You have a chance to go in with a more, with a product that might have a lot more demand and do well over time, right? So here's a typical example. This is something I was looking at getting involved in 2016, which was gaming chairs. At that time on the US market, it was about a $10,000 capital investment to buy enough stock to compete on page one, and about a $50,000 a month revenue potential. So that's where that was. By 2021, there was $150,000 that you would need just to get in with enough stock to compete on page one with a $1.5 million a month revenue potential. That's some serious growth in just 7 years, right? So this idea is pretty cool because when you look at some of these emerging markets that are already viable right now, you can imagine that if you sell in those marketplaces, it's almost like going back to 2016. It's just at the beginning of its organic growth. Amazon is obviously going to do an amazing job in these marketplaces, and you can grow with them, and you can take something that's doing $50,000 a month and over the next 1 to 2 years, turn that into a 7-figure product by just staying in stock, growing organically with that. And that is a massive opportunity that is available to us. And so, since the pandemic and obviously e-commerce really growing in some of those emerging marketplaces, I'm more excited by emerging marketplaces than I have been in many years. So there's real opportunity there for all of us if we can do it, and especially in Europe, some of there's UK, Germany, but there's other ones there that you can jump in and actually have a look at. So the question that I would just pose to everyone here is why not, right? Why not think about it? At least look at the data, look at those marketplaces and see if it's an opportunity worth going into. Again, we're integrated with all these marketplaces. So we see data. I'm going to show you some examples, not only in Europe, but I'll show you some in Australia and one in India as well. I've got a few. I specifically left North America out of it for now because I think we always look at that. So again, just what I was saying is like, that arrow is 2016 in terms of Amazon's North America sales. So look at that organic growth, just as e-commerce just completely taken off in the USA. And that's kind of the point where a lot of these emerging markets are. So you've got .com, Japan, Germany, UK, and then obviously look at, India's up there, Italy, France, Canada, Spain, all of these marketplaces. They look much smaller in comparison to the US, but they are viable marketplaces. You can absolutely make a fortune if you sell well in those marketplaces. So at a high level, the USA market is seasoned. They've been around for a while. There's big brands in there, big sellers, so if you're looking at some of those larger categories, you need to go much more specific because it's very hard to compete against some of these big brands that have big budgets and have been around for a long time. So go really seasoned, look at the data. We have ways of unraveling some of those opportunities by peeling back some of those layers with the data. And then obviously some of these other marketplaces, a lot of them in Europe are viable. There's a lot of traffic volume now. There's more opportunity. You can go after bigger niches. So that's it. I'm going to jump in and show you some examples just at a very high level. This niche score is how we validate product ideas, which is fundamentally answering 4 questions, right? Which is how much demand is there? There needs to be demand. How much competition is there? We need some, but not too much. How much capital do you need to actually launch and get it, compete on page 1? And then what's the profit opportunity? You need to be selling something at the right price so that you have margin left over that can actually grow your business, right? If you're making 2 cents on every sale, there's no point. And then finally, the last one, which is something that you have to answer as well, which is differentiation. How do you differentiate my product? That's a really important one. Data is 50% of the answers. The other 50% is your business savviness, your differentiation skills, and how you can actually compete in that space. So you've got to learn that as an entrepreneur. Let's jump in. I want to show you 2 ways in the next couple of minutes before I hand it back to the guys. I want to show you just in ZonGuru 2 different ways that you can actually search for products. I'm going to show you the more expert view right now in terms of how we search for products, and this is using our keyword tool. It's called Keywords on Fire. It's people love this tool. It's probably one of our most powerful tools because we pull in stuff like brand analytics. We know what people are searching for actually on Amazon, and then we have a whole bunch of data points that help you to validate certain keywords. Are these the ones that I need for my listing or for PPC? But it's also a really cool way of actually doing some product research. So I've just got in here on the on a marketplace here, which is the UK. And the way I use it sometimes for research is I just put in a word like a generic word like shelf. So I just put in the word shelf, right? So shelf can cover a whole bunch of different products. So what this tool does is it takes it does a reverse lookup on up to 25 of the main organic listings for that keyword across all of those different products. And then it uses brand analytics and a whole bunch of other data to look at what actual customers are searching for. It dedupes it against each other, and then it gives you this list. And then we give you stuff like dollars from keywords, search volume, how many of those are in the top 25 positions, units, ratings is important, reviews, right? So how many reviews does that on average have? Price, top 3 clicks, conversions, and then all of the competitors that are pulled in and where they rank. So that's very high level. I don't want to dive into too much detail here, but you have these ability to use filters at the top across any of these categories. And when I look for products using this for shelf, I would just say, hey, give me, for example, I just go, give me, search volume of anything greater than or equal to 750. That's what I did here. So it's saying to me, hey, give me something with decent search volume, but also give me something with low ratings. So we're looking for things that have less competition, and then everything that's got over a price of £25. So we've got a decent price, we've got decent demand, but not too much competition. And that's filtered down all these keywords into about 62 keywords. So I can just look through these keywords and find opportunities that may be potentially worth selling on Amazon. So you have all the keywords here. What I would do right now is just actually sort it by search volume. So give me the highest search volume at the top. So now I know I've got like a lot of search volume, and I'll look over at the ratings and see, hey, where's there like a low average rating, which means like these low reviews is probably a new product. And the one that just pops out right away is this one. It's got decent search volume, 10,000 ladder shelf, right? And it's got really low average ratings. And it's got a decent price point of $55. This to me seems like a pretty good opportunity where I could get in. I could actually look at it and see. So I just literally click on this ladder shelf. There's corner shelf, floating shelf, corner shelf. There's a whole bunch of different products you could look at here. I mean, look at this list, right? There's all different kind of products. But for example, if I thought ladder shelf was great, I'll just click on that, load it up on Amazon, because it's always good to look at a product on Amazon, right? How do I differentiate it? I can look at it here. I mean, what's great about this is it flat packs. There's definitely ways that you can differentiate it. Just on this page, there's different types of options. So, this could be a really interesting one. I love furniture because it's easy. You can extend a brand quite easily. So this might be a great opportunity on the UK. You can bring up our Chrome extension right here. You can see which are the most clicked and converted ones. There's number 1, 2, and 3. You get a rating over here. There's a whole bunch of detail on here to help you validate whether this is a good product to go into or not. So that's how I do it using keywords on fire. Super cool, super interesting. The second way, and I think I might just have 1 or 2 minutes. Nick, let me know if I have that time. The second way is obviously to use our niche finder, right? This is our niche finder. This product is awesome. This is one that can basically look at any single marketplace, and then you can look at any category, or you can put in specific generic keywords to really hone in on the type of products that are returned for that niche. You have a bunch of way of filtering this data. So I've just taken an example here on the German marketplace. I know, Omar, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I just said, hey, give me the German marketplace. And, what I've done at a high level on the right-hand side is, again, use similar filters, right? So give me search volume of over 750, give me average ratings of under 1,500, and a price point of over $25. I've also got the buy demand, the niche score, everything else here that I've adjusted. And I've said, hey, give me words for camping. So I just want to look at camping in general. I actually Google translated this, and actually camping is the same in German as in English. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but I've just put in camp, camping, lager. I don't know if that's right, or camp. This is why it's important to obviously understand the culture and the language. But I put those in, I hit search, and I've returned a whole bunch of different keywords. Now, this is a keyword generated niche finder tool. It's very similar to what is starting to happen on Amazon right now. We were obviously the first to do it from a keyword specific, but you can roll over any of these and you can see search volume. You can see average price, average ratings, average revenue. You can see the gas lamp over here. The average revenue is 22,000 euros, a launch budget, and then if you can roll over any of these and just see at a high level what is interesting. And obviously you've got the niche score. So you've got buy, demand, competition, investment, revenue potential, a whole bunch of stuff you need to learn here. And I'm not going to get into the details, but you get a bunch of data at a high level, and then you can just literally click on them to actually see what the opportunity is. So I clicked on this one, right? You can see the niche score, buy demand, and then all of the details for these products in a niche. You can click on this, open it up in different tools. You can save it. You can add it to favorites. It's a super cool tool just to get in and start to look at a whole bunch of different niches and see what is a good niche, what's worth getting into. And yeah, it's an amazing tool. Again, I think the important thing here is at a high level, when I looked at this, I see a lot of potential. I mean, much more than I would see on the USA right now in terms of getting in on a niche. This is a camping bed. Look at this. This is basically average sales, average revenue of 20,000 euros. So this is a 6-figure product right here that I could get in, an easy launch budgets. It's an easier market to get in for sure, with a lot of upside, because it's going to grow a lot over the next few years versus something like the USA right now. So if you are selling already on the USA, open up this tool, look at the different marketplaces. We have data on every single marketplace, what people are searching for. Look at your tool, look at your product in those marketplaces for that niche, see if it's worth extending into, and you can just jump in and go from there. So those are 2 ways. There's a few other ways within the tool that you can look at it. I'm not going to get into that right now. But again, I put those details in here. I've also got, Australia examples. These are super cool, like baby bed rails, jump starters, walkers in the India marketplace. This is cool. It's a much more kind of a, what's the way it's more of a, they don't have brands necessarily. It's much more utilitarian in India right now. But there's definitely options there, badminton rackets. And then obviously the USA, things like this is very niche, like a comic book organizer. So you've got to understand how to look for products in different marketplaces, set them up in the niche finder or keywords on fire, and go from there, and you'll find some awesome opportunities. That's it from my side. For anybody listening right now, if you want to try out ZonGuru, the best way to do that is actually take our especially around product research, specifically around figuring out how your product or product niches look in different marketplaces. Take our 14-day product challenge. It's called the Jumpstart. It's called the Quick Start Challenge. Here's the link: zonguru.link/join RRC-1027. Sorry about the link, but if you can write that down, we'll put it in the chat. Join RRC-1027. You can get in. You can take our exclusive Quick Start Challenge, and basically every single day we'll teach you exactly how to find a product and a supplier in that space. So you'll know by the end of this exactly what kind of products to look for. You'll have found some that you could sell on Amazon, and you'll have found a supplier. It's all right here. We'll step you through every single day with a little short challenge just to get you through and get going. So that's the best way. Otherwise, go to zonguru.com, check it out there. We are passionate about it. We want to help you guys. So I'm super excited about Europe and some of the opportunities in the marketplace. Again, we're going to get into the nuances now with the rest of the team. So thanks from my side. I appreciate it. I'll hand it back to you, Nick.
Okay, thanks, John. And you guys, you don't need to write it down. We'll send everything after the event, so you have it there also. So like John said, finding the product is the key. And this is what, John and ZonGuru is offering, look at different alternatives. It might be a small market, but you care about the profit and the potential, because if you go to the USA, it's a big market. But if you combine all the European markets, you can start actually making more in revenue and more in profit, because they're not so competitive. So I will send you the stuff. Check the challenge, check the tool, and you can go from there. And now I'm second because my part is boring. Nobody want to talk about taxes, but you guys, guess what? You have no choice. Taxes and differ certain. So I'll tell you what we do on our side, because we're trying to facilitate the taxes part. So let me show what we do, and just give me a second. Okay, here is my screen. Okay, so taxes. So just in general, what is hellotax doing? It has a very interesting story, because the co-founders used to be Amazon sellers. They were sellers like a lot of people, and they were having issues with the VAT compliance. That was like 5 years ago. So they met online, they had a discussion, and they figured, oh, you know what? Let's try to build a VAT compliance solutions which is tailored for Amazon sellers. So, and what problems are we solving? So online sellers expanding in Europe, they need to be compliant. You have no choice. I mean, you have an accountant who is expert in your home country, but they have no idea when you start selling in other markets. So this is what we do. And why, like John said, why should you consider Europe? I mean, it's a huge revenue growth potential, a big market, 400 plus millions, 27 new countries. Each one has its specifics, but when you add them up, it would be a huge success if you manage to get started. So if you're a small brand in your home country, we're not talking only for the US, anywhere in the world, you can expand your brand. And I know it from experience, because I used to be a seller starting from Bulgaria, which is the smallest and poorest country in the European Union. I was selling across the whole EU. And thanks to the potential of Europe, I was doing that for 10 years. So why else should you do that? I mean, competitors who are not selling in Europe, they're missing out. So you should take advantage of that. And of course, when you expand to a big market like Europe, you can order more stuff, more stock, so you can reduce your costs from your supplier. So what you need to know in regards to the VAT compliance in Europe, there is few things which are very important. You need to know your VAT liability from the past and the present, because if you don't know that, they'll penalize you. This is not an excuse that you didn't know. You need to register in one or more markets depending on where you're storing and what you're doing. You need to have an exact view of the goods and stock you're moving from one market to another. And of course, you need to have the visibility of all your channels that you're selling: Amazon, private label website, Shopify, whatever. So what do you need to know in Europe? The VAT rate is around 20%, but of course, around 20 is not good for the tax authorities. So it's 21 in Spain, 19 in Germany, 23 in Poland, 20 in Bulgaria. So this is something that we take care of. You don't need to worry about that. Then another question is, okay, where should I start in Europe? I mean, if you don't know, you might make some mistakes. So just to give you some broad overview, Poland is one of the easiest markets that you can enter. It's 100% online. It's 21 in Spain, 19 in Germany, 23 in Poland, 20 in Bulgaria. So this is something that we take care of. You don't need to worry about that. Then another question is, okay, where should I start in Europe? I mean, if you don't know, you might make some mistakes. So just to give you some broad overview, Poland is one of the easiest markets that in terms of documents required and how hard is it to register. And Spain is the hardest one because they require original documents. And Germany is one of the easiest one because they accept documents, paperwork in English. They're the biggest market in Europe, and they're located centrally in Europe, meaning that it could be your starting base, like the home base if you're a non-EU company, for example. Or even for EU companies, a lot of companies are choosing Germany for these exact reasons. Why do you need to register for VAT? I mean, if you're using Amazon FBA, you have no choice. So these are the reasons why I need to do. Before July 1st this year, there was the so-called VAT threshold, which was different in different markets. So that's the good news. This is no longer valid. So right now with the introduction with the one-stop shop, you don't need to worry about that. Once you hit 10,000 euro threshold, you can register for the one-stop shop in your home country. If you're an EU company, if you're a non-EU company, you can select a market in Europe, like Germany, for example. You register for the VAT, then you register for the one-stop shop, and you can make deliveries from Germany to the rest of Europe. So it's a huge relief for sellers because they don't need to do multiple VAT registration. And the second option is when you store goods in a specific country in Europe. So if you store in all the European countries, you need to have a VAT in each market. So this is how it works, and this is still valid after July 1st. So what are the main blockers to expand to Europe? Omar will talk about in a minute about one of the other main issues, language barrier. Multiple countries, multiple languages, country specifics, and all this stuff that you cannot just go with it. I know it from experience, and one of our listeners has an agency, she knows it better than me. If your translation sucks, you're not going to make sales. You become a laughing stock, like Amazon did in Sweden. So you need to take that very seriously. Before you do that, you need to have the VAT, meaning customs, taxes. We cover all that. So we can take care of that. We have partners who can take care of the translation. So what we're offering right now, because if you don't know, you might say, okay, I'll go to Italy, I'll go to Spain, whatever. So this is what we recommend. And guys, listen, because we're doing it because this is the best and the easiest solution. So let's say if you're a non-EU company or EU company would like to expand, Germany is the best location, like I said earlier. Biggest market after Amazon.com, central location, documents are accepted in English, and you can establish it as a base. Then you do the one-stop shop registration, and you can deliver to everybody in the European Union, B2C sales. So you just do like a monthly VAT filing, quarterly filing for the OSS, and this is all done for our tool. I'm not going to show you the tool right now, but everything is done online. You go, we register you, then you connect your Amazon account, we get the data, we file the report on your behalf, you pay the returns, and you continue managing your business. You'll be able to do like online VAT returns and registrations in all the markets. We do the data processing and the verification from our team internally, and we control everything. And you have, we monitor the VAT compliance needs on your different channels. So I'm not gonna show everything, but we have a great tool. So I'll send that in the recording so you can check it out. It's really simple because, like I said, it was built by Amazon sellers to be tailored for Amazon and other e-commerce sellers. So this is now what we do. And of course, I will send you the information later on so you can book a call with us, because taxes, you don't buy tax on the website. Of course, we have this option, but you always need to do consultation, because you cannot just go and say, okay, I'll do VAT in Germany, you get it like in 2 days. It doesn't work out like that. You need to have the proper discussion so we can set the proper expectation. This is what is needed by you. This is how long it will take. This is what we recommend, and you go from there. So let's assume that we're just making a journey. Just go over the journey for the client. So John helped you to find the product. You have a list of them. So right now you go and brainstorm. Okay, well, I would like to test this ones. I helped you to set up the customs and to import your goods in here. Right now you're waiting for the VAT, which takes 1 up to 3 months. So what do you do in the meantime? Of course, you need to go and check out our next speaker, Omar, and he'll tell you why translations are important and what they're doing for that. So Omar, now it's you. Take it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So great. Just unmuted myself. So yeah, before I open everything up, I just want to quickly thank you all for being here. I'm honored to be on this panel. Thank you for inviting me as well, Nick. And yeah, let's jump right into it. Last time, the thing was I didn't have enough time, so I had a slide which was looking like John's. This time, I'm more prepared. So I have only a few, but first, I just wanted to say quickly something about MarginBusiness. So we are a localization company. So what we're doing, we localize Amazon listings. Not only Amazon listings, included as well the pictures, everything what is in the listings, we localize it. So it's easy to translate, but localization is important. So you can get somebody for cheap to translate your listing. That's okay, that's fine. But you know, to localize, really to localize it, to have a native speaker, to have a marketing team, and to have people that know Amazon is super important. So we have an SOP in place, and our strength is that we have every single one of our employees is working all the time with us. So we don't go and just hire on demand. We have them all the time working with us because we have the workflow in and everything is running. So we know who works with what and who is good at what. So this is one of our strengths. So as what keeps us apart from other agencies like ours. So usually what I'm doing, I'm talking about listing optimization and translation. But today, I think the topic, I've spoken about it a lot. So I think the topic, what we choose this time, is a bit different. It's still within the European Union and what you can do. But I think now we heard John talking about the keywords and the opportunities in the European Union, which was very positive. Then we had Nick, which is a bit scary, you know, because taxes, everyone's scared. Oh, so many things, you know, I see already questions popping up left and right, you know. So I just want to not make it more complicated again to bring the listing optimization up. So I bring something what you guys can easily make and which we say, this is going to be nice. Okay, let's jump right into it. I share my screen. Where are you here? Oh, this is going to be fun. Okay. Whoa, sorry, guys.
You can try to explain it in words, not the presentation.
Yeah, okay.
You should be able to share at the bottom. It says share screen, right?
Yeah, no, it's not about the share. I need to find the page. There's so many pages on, so I just have to open this up. Okay, no, it's not this one. Okay, so what we want to do, or what we are, just a second, well, really I've shut this thing down, you know, template. Here we go. Thank you so much. Let me share this really quick. So what do you see, guys, right now? Do you see the presentation or not?
Yeah, well, we see. Join the conversation with the Zoom. Too many tabs, if you ask me honestly. You need to open few. We need to do a webinar how to open list tabs.
I see the Binance logo. Check
yeah, let me quickly jump into it. So wait, I'm going to share again because I think what I did was not correct here. Now we see you got it. So here we go. No more Binance logo, right? Okay,
that's good.
Here we go. So now you guys are all in the picture here. Okay, so how to compete with local brands. Obviously, you can do this through listing optimization. You can do this with there is a big panel which you can do within the European Union or on other marketplaces, as Amazon Japan and all of these marketplaces. But today, let's stay in the European Union, and this is because this is our specialty. It's important to understand the foreign Amazon marketplaces. So it's not just like, it's not that I say it's just like the US. No, US has a lot of other challenges which we don't have in the European Union. But there's as well culturally differences, but it's pretty hard in the US to focus on different categories or customer avatars. I mean, customer avatars, yes, but customers within the US, because it's not yet like the localization is cannot be done like in the European Union. Between Canada and the US, yes, but within the US, we have to be very broad. So that's why it's very important that in the European Union, as we already said, there's so many countries, so many cultures, so many differences, so many views to take on different customers, that we really need to go very deep, keywords research, research of products, what do customers want, and ZonGuru has already pointed out very good with his tool and how to do that. I think that was really positive. So what we recommend, when you got already your product, when you have your operation running and everything, and you really want to grow your business and as well your social media channels, which is as well super important, because most of the people always thinking about Amazon, Amazon, Amazon. They don't think about the customers outside. But if you want to grow a business and later on you want to sell it, for example, to an aggregator, the first thing what they're going to ask you is, do you have a presence outside? Do you have a customer list? So this is as well super important. How, for example, English speakers or other language speakers which don't have all the language knowledge that we have written here, German, French, Italian, Spanish. I didn't put the other 3 languages on because we keep it very simple here. How can you do that? You know, you need a whole team, you need customer service. No, in this case, you don't need that. The only thing what you need is a QR code. You need to scan it. This is an insert which comes into your products. So you can do one insert, put it in your products, then customer pull it out. It's even within the Amazon T's and C's. You pull it out, scan this QR code, and then magic happened. It goes into a ManyChat flow. So you can start the initial flow in multiple language choices. And you need to translate this by a translator only one time, because you can update it afterwards as you wish. I mean, obviously, then you have to ask somebody who's going in and tweak some things here and there, but you don't need a full customer service team, because this is an automated bot and the bot is actually replying. So if a customer asks, for example, if I scan and then he asks something, my code to receive a free article, the bot will follow up with them until the bot gets stuck or something like that, and then we can go into the flow. But I won't go so deep. I just can tell you that there's an automated process which makes the whole thing a lot easier. Use a unique code, unique QR code, because there's website, for example, you put a QR code in and then you're happy, yay, I got a QR code, you print this on your inserts, and after 1 week, you scan it and then the QR code is gone. So make sure that you go to a website where you can really sign up. You don't have to pay, you have to sign up, and you can keep your QR code and change it as well as you wish, because they will be sent then to your ManyChat flow. It's really an unstoppable mix, because you can send manuals, you can send instructions, you can send tutorial, free gifts, discount on next purchase. So the customer is actually accessible to you outside of Amazon. So it's your customer, and this is what is really important. And I think within the European Union, it's a super good tool, because you have all the countries and the languages within in one software where you can get to them and talk to them, and they are your customers. So you can get as well reviews. Grow social media presence. Reviews, I don't talk about Amazon reviews, I talk about Facebook reviews. Facebook reviews are as well super important, because people get trust. So if you have a German customer and he comes on your website and he sees so many German customers saying, hey, this is a good product, this is a good product, this is a good product, I love it, maybe the different things what the product does or anything, and they see this is proper written German, these are real German customers, they can go on their profile. So I'm talking about Germany because it's the biggest country. I don't, just to not to upset anyone, so and I just, this is it's really easy. You can get returning customer, and the launch is as well super easy, because you have these customers in there and you can get back to them without needing a whole language team. So like I said, it's very good for people who want to migrate from the US, for sellers from the US into the European Union. As you said, this is a project what we have done. The good thing is as well, you only need one Instagram page or one Facebook page. So you don't have to put them into 3 languages, because the flow goes into the chat. So the chat breaks it down into the different languages because it's already, ManyChat already sorted them out for you. So it's for me, it's something super good, and it's super easy, and it lies there, and not many people making use of this, you know. So grow your social media channels, grow your brand awareness, and really it's a few months. I can guarantee this. And you can, the whole goal in this is to grow your social media business, as I already said. And because you can get all these reviews in all different languages, it gives obviously trust. If you need to search for hashtags, you can as well hire somebody who speaks the language. Us, for example, you can use the hashtag from the different countries. So we could search for the hashtags which are for the countries, because every country has a different hashtag. So it's best. I mean, influencers, they speak most of the time English, but it's good to have the hashtag in the foreign languages as well. So we have trained our team as well to translate and to localize the localization experts. They know how to deal with ManyChat so that the flow is easy. And because if somebody don't know it and he goes in the flow, I don't know if you ever seen a ManyChat flow. It's for me, it looks like I'm always scared only when I see it, you know. So if you go in there and you mess something up, that's it. Flow can be done. Maybe you cut a line, something goes up, and you know it's really bad. So we have the people who can actually go in there and change it without any problems, because you need kind of a programmer to put this back on. Yeah. So I think this time I kept. I don't even know how many minutes. I hope it was like 8 minutes. This is what was my kind of a goal, because Nick told me to do so. And I said, okay, this time I won't go over the time. Anyone who's coming from this webinar will receive 10% off of their first invoice. The link will be below. Nick will take care of everything. So we do the listing optimization, localization in total. I like to put a localization so I don't have to tell the whole story around it all the time. Great. Thank you so much. I hope this is of value for you. And yeah, happy selling. Come to the European Union. It's easy. It's not hard. It's really easy. Just stick with hellotax and all of us here on the panel, and you will have a great sales. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Omar. You guys can come for vacation in the summer, and you might come selling in the winter. So, okay, exactly. Thanks, Omar. Don't worry, don't have a blitz chase. So if you go over 1 minute, you know, we're not gonna penalize you. You know, we're not a tax authority. Okay. So right now it's Adam.
No football here, right? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Product, taxes, translations, and reviews. You're building a brand, organic growth, and now Adam will tell you how they can get all the things that we have discussed and just turn that into a brand and scale them to the other markets. So thanks, Adam, for joining.
Thanks,
and let's go ahead.
Thanks, guys. Great talk so far. So first, before I get started, before I share my screen, I actually want to pose a question. And it's, if you're a brand, you're probably doing some decent volumes in the US, or you're thinking about where to start. It's when do I go to that European destination? When do we open up Europe as a channel? What makes sense? And, you know, internally, we're kind of just know it is the same effort, resources, time, money, your teams, either yourself or your employees' time to go harder in the US or to launch something new in the US as it is to expand into Europe. So weigh that out. And, you know, there's only so many hours in the day. Internally, what we're looking for across our clients, you know, we're managing about 110 brands, 120 brands on Amazon currently. Across that portfolio, we're looking for some thresholds, some revenue thresholds in the US market first. And then we say, hey, based on that, assuming a 10% or 15% or 20% kind of metric, if we can get 10 to 20% in the EU, as what we're doing in the US, it makes sense. It justifies the time, effort, expense to go in. So before we get started on that, you know, use that kind of internally, like, don't just go throw in Europe because we're selling, it's a great idea. Yes, it's there. And if you're doing some volume, it makes sense to get there. But is 20% $10, or is that 10,000 a month, or 100,000 or a million a month? I think those are those things. Talk with your partners and employees before you just jump in there. So I'm going to go over our 4 pillars of Amazon success. I talk about these as how to win on Amazon in the US, but I also talk about it's very similar in Europe, and there's a unique twist to each one as we expand into Europe or internationally. So I'm going to share my screen. Boom. All right. Can you guys all see that? Sweet. So first pillar when it comes to winning in the EU or internationally is content, right? Work with Omar, and like he was talking about, we've got these layers of content where the base layer is clicking a button and having Amazon translate your listings, right? And if it's that versus not going at all, at least do that. You'll get something, right? But then you're going to go up the stack, and as you prove out there's market validation there, eventually you need to be working with someone like Omar to get your products localized with a native speaker, because in between the Amazon translation and someone like Omar is a Google Translate, right? So there's levels to this stuff. If you've got a long tail catalog of a million SKUs, maybe pick your top best sellers, pick your highest sellers there, and get some human translation, and then machine translate, or kind of have an army of VAs attack the other stuff. But eventually you want to be working up to Omar, not just on copy, but on images too. If you use any infographics in your images, you want to make sure that those are updated as well on the Illustrator files. So that's content as far as Amazon. Obviously EBC and main images and infographics and title and bullet points and descriptions. If you're just focusing on something, title, description, infographics, like focus your energy and time and budget on that. Number 2, so pillar number 2, customer service. And when we talk about customer service, we're talking about actual dealing with the end consumers, but also review management and kind of follow-up sequences with that. So I'll start with that side of it. So just like Omar was saying, you want your funnels also translated into the native language. You need, if you're driving people to ManyChat, if you're driving people to SMS, make sure you have a local number where they can text. Because if you give them a USA number, they're not going to text that. Or if they're sending to your main customer service email to register a warranty or to follow up, your customer service rep is going to assume they're from the US and then reply to them in English, and then you have a bad customer experience, which that's not good for long-term growth. For customer service internally, it's the way we do it is customers, when they're writing with a question, they appreciate that if you at least take a swipe at their native language. So for instance, if we're in Germany and we're getting a question in German, our customer service team, which is based in the Philippines and Latin America, will take the English response to it, right? They'll translate the question in Google Translate. They'll type out their response in Google Translate. They'll put the Google Translate response, but then they'll also put the English underneath. And customers appreciate that. We're dealing with a large number of questions a day across all the brands. I think we're dealing with about 20,000 unique ASINs that we're managing. So as far as like scalability, we have to focus on that. If you happen to have native speakers and can employ native speakers on your customer service team, that's another bonus point, and it helps ingratiate you into that country, and start building that brand up. This next pillar is usually the one that trips people up. And when we talk about inventory management, it's all the operations or logistics items, mainly the compliance, the logistics, and the VAT, right? So VAT, Nick's got that handled. And in fact, I took a note to have my team follow up. It seems amazing. And we're gonna explore the hellotax platform. So I'll talk about compliance and logistics. So getting your product over to those FCs or those warehouses And then once it's there, can we get through customs on it? Or are we going to have 10,000 units of some product, in this case, raspberry vanilla bean jam, sitting in customs till the end of time and never being able to get out? So compliance. Did you know that monk fruit is banned in the EU? So if you send anything with monk fruit over there, it's not going to be able to get into the country. Whereas you don't even have to think about that in the US. Like if you have anything with monk fruit listed on Amazon, and yes, you have to provide your MSDS stuff, but you can get that live in the US, no problem. The EU, it's not even allowed in the entire continent. So if you have stuff, so work with a consultant, work with an agency, work with a specialist to ensure that your labeling, that your ingredients, that your product can be imported there. It's easier with hard goods or hard lines, something like John saw with the step ladders, right? Like there's probably not going to be any compliance. We deal a lot with health, beauty, pets, things that go in or on people or animals or babies. You better have your ducks in a row. The good thing is your suppliers they should be selling to other people in these countries. They should have those documents. You should be able to get your name on those documents so they're accepted by Amazon, so they're accepted by customs. But it's better to get those ducks in a row before you ship 1,000, 5,000, a container full of product over to Germany than when it's sitting in customs. And then, okay, logistics, right? This part really hangs up. So let's say you're manufacturing in China. Are you going over to Germany, but then it really justifies shipping a whole container? And then where are you storing that container? Or are you going to drip feed it into the fulfillment centers? Or are you going to send a full container in and pay Amazon's higher storage? So what we found is, let's say you're going to use Germany as your kind of jumping off point. It used to be you can use UK or Germany, but after Brexit, it seems like everyone's flowing into Germany. Have Germany as your kind of inventory location. Well, we're going to need a 3PL on the ground there to kind of drip feed pallets or units into the fulfillment network into. So add that to your list. Unless you just want to try out, test some demand, you can send 100, 200, 1,000 units over via DHL or FedEx or UPS. Typically DHL is the easiest and fastest for those international shipments. And then if it makes sense, so here for this scenario, I'll use this jam. Let's say we've gotten the clearance for it, we've gotten customs approval, we've got the ingredients approval. We're going to send 1,000 units or 500 units or 100 units over, build up a listing. For this scenario, we're going to use machine translating because we're just testing, and we're going to throw it up and see if there's any demand. Okay, we've gotten some sales here. It looks like we've got a few influencers in the German market that are talking about this jam, and demand comes and we sell out. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to get it expert translated, right? We're going to use someone like Omar. We're going to get it. We're going to invest time in that, and then we're going to start ocean freighting some product while we also air freight over additional products. So we've got some product coming in, and then the ocean freight's going to catch up to it. We're going to find a warehouse in Germany, and then we're going to drip feed in additional units. And just like you do in the US, I hope you guys are doing that in the US, because Amazon's long-term storage fees and Q4 storage fees will wipe out your profits if you don't set up some kind of drip feed system. So that's logistics, that's inventory management. I mean, pretty much, you guys know, if you don't have inventory on Amazon, your brand doesn't exist. So worst thing you can do is go out of stock on Amazon, keep it in stock somehow. It's worth paying air freight. I know a lot of people that are going to be air freighting containers from China over to the US and internationally this Q4. So be on the lookout for that. And then marketing. So once you're live, we call it a race to 20 as far as reviews. Now, you can't just go buy your product and leave your own review. Don't do that. But figure out some creative methods to get to 20 reviews, TOS compliantly. Go to a farmer's market and have people try the product and buy it and do it there. Like, get out in public, go just give away some samples, go have people buy the product and discount it, give them a really good promo code. But get out there, get to 20 reviews, because at 20 reviews, we're going to start seeing our advertising be much more effective. If you're trying to advertise a product without a single review, or without 5, or without 10, or without 20 reviews on Amazon's PPC platform, they are going to tear you up. You are going to be dead in the water as far as a ROAS comes. Then, so I'm going to exit the screen and I'm going to hop into this. So what we've got here, and we update this from time to time, is our advertising hierarchy. So there are, what do we have? 17 different Amazon ad campaign types. And Nick, remind me to give you the link to this so people can download it and see it. This is, I would call it the bucket or waterfall system. So if you have a set amount of budget to spend on advertising, like only do this first one, right? So this is a mature brand. I'm going to go down here for new brand. So if you've got a set budget, call it $500, you couldn't use all 500 on this first campaign type: branded sponsored product ad, performance campaign, exact match. Now, if you don't have enough keyword search, or if you don't have enough action on your brand, okay, move up the hierarchy, right? So sponsored product ad, research campaign, broad match, then brand. So we're getting down here to branded, and then let's throw in a low bid automatic campaign. So let's say you've like maxed out these buckets and you have a little extra budget. So throw in some low bid automatic campaigns, then throw in some mobile video and search ads, closely related non-brand sponsored search. And then you just kind of move up the hierarchy. And what we're doing here, and why we have these in this hierarchy, is we're seeing ROAS returns from better to worse, right? So if you're maxed out everything down here, okay, well, I guess the only thing next we can do is short tail sponsored product keywords. I don't know where DSP is in here. I think we have an updated one with some DSP in, but that tends to be lower return than any sponsored product or sponsored brand campaigns that we're seeing. It also kind of competes against the same inventory, but that's for another conversation. But we put out a ton of great advertising content. So if you're going to try advertising on your own, it's all applicable to the US or EU. It's all for free. Like we publish our roadmap because, you know, it's either you want us to help you with it, or hey, like here's a ton of value and go do it all. It's like we're not afraid to share all the secrets and so show how the sausage is made. Some notes like what our assumptions are that we based on this, and you'll see Lucas on YouTube. But advertising, posts, Vine, get to 20 reviews, and then just kind of crank up the ad spend on this. You guys all know that Amazon has become, or is really flexing that pay-to-play platform. The days of getting a product to 1,000 reviews quickly and then just riding on organic, those days are turning to an end. But compared to Facebook, compared to Google, the ROI on Amazon ads are still better than anything else in the marketplace. If you're going to invest ad budget, I would say invest it on Amazon for bottom of the funnel, and then Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all other channels for top of funnel kind of brand building. And that is where we're at. If you got any questions about that, let me know.
Thanks, Adam. We have actually plenty of questions, and let me start with John because he has a podcast in 2-3 minutes. So we'll fire the questions for him. So the first one is from Eugene. What is the right search volume in the marketplace for ZonGuru? Okay, what is the right search volume in the EU marketplace? This is the question.
Yeah, it's going to be different depending on each marketplace, right? And typically, I would say anything over 500 is a good low base to start on. But a good way to figure that out is when you actually look at a specific niche in a marketplace, running something like Keywords on Fire, it's going to give you actual search volume for all the kind of keywords within that niche. You should be able to figure out from there, hey, what is like a decent low base search volume and then obviously match it up with sales, right? So that's, you've got to get in and you've got to understand the niche, understand the various keywords, products, and what is the kind of search volume for that niche. And from that, you can kind of base it on, hey, this is where I think is a low volume. But I would say, the baseline, anything over 500 is good. Obviously, in the US, you want to go much higher than that, 1,000 and above.
Okay, so here is another question from ZonGuru. How fast is revenue growing in the small European marketplaces? So I guess what is the potential in the small ones that you mentioned earlier?
Yeah, I don't know the exact percentage, but it's fast, and I think typically what we're seeing just from obviously the shift to e-commerce and that being driven by the pandemic, we're seeing typically retail brick and mortar countries like Italy, for example, like a massive retail brick and mortar, they've by necessity had to move online. So the jump has been ginormous, right? I think it was a substantial jump over hundreds of percent at the pandemic, and that came down a little bit, but it hasn't gone down to where it was. So any searches we're doing on that now, it's viable. People are doing 6 figures, 7 figures for sure in those marketplaces with obviously less opportunity. So it's going to grow, and it's just at the beginning. I think when you go into other markets like Australia, India, it's like 3% of overall retail. So they're just right at the beginning. There's massive opportunity. Okay,
so just to summarize, John, before you go, so I guess the best time to start, if you haven't started yesterday, is today, right? So go check it out and take a shot. Like Wayne Gretzky, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So obviously you need to take a shot. Otherwise you're not gonna lose. You're not gonna win. So
yeah, I 100% agree, and we're just starting to see, even in the US, there's still so much potential e-commerce growth. It's not even at the point of surpassing retail sales. So there's growth there. Other marketplaces is just at the beginning. Remember that example I showed of like, hey, if I started selling game chairs on USA, it was 50,000 a month. It's now 1.5 million a month. That kind of growth, organic growth, is ahead of us in some of these emerging marketplaces. So get in now and stay in stock, as Adam says, and you'll do great. So it's definitely absolutely worth a shot. If not today, tomorrow is great too.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, John. So if you have to leave, we will let you go. I know that you have a podcast, so we're a little over time, but we'll finish with Omar and Adam because we have questions for them, and they have even questions for taxes. I guess.
Yeah, thank you guys. Sorry, I have to jump. I have to jump on this next podcast. Thanks, guys. That was actually super informative. Adam, I'm taking that questionnaire right now because I'm
nice.
Okay. So I will touch base again. Okay. Good to see you again, Omar, and thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, John.
See ya.
Bye. Okay, guys. So let's continue with the questions. The next one is, I think it's for Adam from Jennifer. What was the difference between working with an Amazon agency versus a consultant or an in-house team?
Yeah, so when we are doing our exercises, our strategy days, we compare ourselves to an in-house team, and what we're saying is if you are a $50 million e-commerce brand or $100 million e-commerce brand, you could probably justify, or you definitely could justify, call it 2.5 employees. So operations and advertising, and then kind of the half is customer service and content, which you probably already have if you're a large e-com team. And then about $5,000 a month of software and services. So that's what we are an option against, and definitely can do it. We've had brands that we've grown to 8 figures, and they've in-housed us after a successful working relationship, and they've also referred other people because, as a business owner, you're always doing the internal, build versus buy, internalize this, or work with an expert to get us up to a certain level and then maybe internalize it. I think what you want to avoid is a single point of failure. One employee who's in charge of all Amazon and they get hit by a bus, or they get they go to another competitor, then where are you at with your Amazon presence? You're back in there answering customer service emails and looking up ASIN reports. It's like, that, and the beauty is like, we're working with 110 brands currently. We've done this with 250. It's like we're here and we're not going anywhere. So that's what I would say are the benefits. And a consultant, awesome. Just make sure they're solid and stable, and they're in this for the long run too. But there's some great options out there.
Okay. So just to summarize, like Adam said, and like the Romans said it long time ago, divide and conquer. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. So if you don't wanna, you can just test for a period. Do some stuff in-house, do some stuff with agency, compare and measure. Based on the data, you make the best decision. So
our best partners are the ones that have tried this in-house for 6 months or a year and realize, like, I want to go work on building my brand and I hate Amazon because it's crazy.
Exactly. And one thing that Adam didn't mention, sourcing quality talent to run your Amazon stuff, it's hard. I know agency partners who are looking for a half a year and they cannot find somebody who can do that. So besides, the raw materials and the supplies and the containers, talent is in big demand. So that's a big issue. So and one question from an anonymous agent, not agency attendee: can an agency only run on services? I'm not sure what they mean by that. Can an agency only run on services? I'm not sure, Adam. Do you get that?
I'm not sure. Maybe like versus software, or
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what.
I think so. Something like that. Maybe they mean like, can you run Amazon only with an agency, or through an agency, something like that? I think it's something for Adam. It's a question for.
Yeah, it's for the agency stuff, but I'm not understanding that. Okay, guys, can you rephrase, just explain a little bit more? In the meantime, I'll ask the other question. This is specifically for Omar from Jordan. Do I need a new Amazon account to sell in Europe? Actually, probably you both guys can answer that.
Not really. I mean, like it is literally a new account. But if you have a US account, you just go on the expansion, and you can then apply for German and then the other accounts one by one. So it's not really a new account. It's within the Amazon. I call it the Amazon ecosystem, and everything is attached. Some countries are a bit harder to access, but for the United States and Europe, it's pretty straightforward.
Okay, thanks, Omar. One question for the taxes. The question is the following: can a non-EU company use the one-stop shop as well? Yes, I mean, I think I mentioned it earlier, but the process is really simple. If you're a non-EU company, if you're, let's say, US brand, and you would like to expand in Europe, you can choose like a home country in Europe. And like I said, I recommend Germany for the reasons: English documents, biggest market, central location. So Germany would be your home base. If you use Amazon, you don't need the one-stop shop, because Amazon will do that on their behalf. They will collect the VAT and you can make deliveries to the rest of Europe. If you use a third 3PL and you don't use the Amazon FBA, then you would need to set up the VAT in Germany and the one-stop shop, so you're allowed to make deliveries to everybody in Europe. But in both cases, you do that, but in one of the cases, you don't need the one-stop shop, which means less like paperwork and less expenses. So, but in both cases, you can sell and deliver to the rest of Europe. I think we have another question. This is probably for the agency.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Can an agency only run on services without having its own products launched on Amazon?
I think I know what they're getting at. So to manage our brands in the EU, we actually created our own seller accounts, and we registered that for Pan EU as far as getting that set up originally over the last few years. And then we use that for our clients who don't want to go set up a new account each time and have to deal with the VAT compliance. Like, we are their vendor of record. So it's almost like a distributor deal where we're taking a percentage of sales for managing their Amazon accounts. But it is our seller account, and we are the vendor of record as far as that and the government goes.
Okay. And actually, one last question, and we're done because we're 10 minutes overtime. We had an overtime today. So, but
nice.
Don't worry. So the last question is, I guess, for everybody. That's from attendee who didn't join, but they had a specific question. Let's say if you advise us to start, where should we start right now? Obviously, we said Germany, but they know Germany. They're asking for a second market that we can recommend. France.
I mean, if we don't talk about UK, because now if we talk about European Union, UK is out of the European Union now. But if you ask me, Germany, and if we ask outside the European Union, is UK and then France. So Germany, UK, France.
Okay. On my side, Italy, if you're an EU company, Italy is really easy to set up in regards to the VAT. And for non-EU, also Netherlands, besides Germany. And of course, UK, if you're an English speaker, always UK and Germany.
And there is just one point as well. It depends as well just on your product, because as I said, of the localization, if you bring a product in and you do your market research, then you as well know, this is not now global, what we've been speaking about, first Germany, UK, and then France. But if you have a product, which, for example, sure, Italians will buy, obviously you go to the Italian market, so.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to go and sell pasta or sauce in Italy. So you should sell them stuff that they don't know, something which they might buy. So, and Adam, I know you guys are having sellers. So what would you recommend on your side?
Yeah,
from experience.
Same. You guys nailed it.
Okay. So I guess we're done. Thank you for everybody who stayed with us for 71 minutes. That's the longest webinar I've done. We'll share the recording. You don't need to watch it all at once. You can watch it in like small episodes, exactly like the Squid Game, Yeah. And of course, if you have any questions, so send an email to everybody. After that, you'll be able to get in touch with Omar, Adam, me, and John. If you have any questions, we have great teams and they'll be able to consult you, because like I said, you need to make the next step, meaning to get in touch, and we'll take it from there. If you don't get in touch, you'll never know. So,
and questions are for free. So
exactly,
feel free to ask. We are here for that, a consultation. We're open for that, and then we take it from there.
Exactly. And there's one moral, you can go to Rome by asking. So keep on asking questions. It's free, doesn't hurt.
I love the quote. Thanks, guys. Thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Omar. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.